Welcome back to AutoScoop with Adam Goldfine and Joyce Littell.
You know what, Adam? I wish we had done this show a few years ago. I think I was in an accident, and I just wasn't familiar with procedure to know if an accident, with the accident that I had, should an attorney be involved or not. So when we introduce him, that's going to be one of the first questions that I ask, because you don't really know.
You don't know, and we're pleased to have Richard Griffin here on the show with us. Welcome to AutoScoop. It's a pleasure to have you.
It is a pleasure to be here. I appreciate the opportunity.
Welcome.
It's exciting because so many people are involved, and we have these questions, like Joyce said, like we don't know. We almost feel like, are we ambulance chasing? Are we doing the wrong thing? Well, I'm going to get an attorney. Whoa, slow down, you know. So I guess the first question is...
First of all, we definitely want you to let people know where you are, because at the end of this show, I'm sure you're going to be flooded with calls, because an accident, like Adam said, will take place within this hour. When you are in an accident, my niece was in an accident last Friday night, and her car was badly damaged, but nothing was wrong with her. Should she then think about you in pursuing, you know, the cost of the car or any injury or that happened to her? What would be her first steps outside of calling the insurance company?
Oftentimes I get calls from people who feel somewhat concerned about, do I call an attorney? Should I be worried about that?
Right.
The insurance companies and the adjusters have their attorneys on call and are working on cases right from the beginning, and they are trained to try to build the case to pay as little as possible. So you should never feel bad about calling an attorney. And you can call my office at any point and I can explain to you your rights, I can tell you what your case is worth, and I can guide you through the process, whether I take the case or not.
So you're saying any size of an accident, then an attorney should be involved?
It doesn't cost anything to call an attorney, so there's no reason not to. You shouldn't feel guilty to find out your rights and to make sure that you're doing the right thing.
It's like going to the priest, don't feel guilty. Is that what you're basically saying?
That's exactly right.
It's okay to talk to him, right?
It's fine, and you should. You really should.
Well, let's break that point out. To have a consultation has zero cost.
Right.
Okay. I don't think a lot of people know that. I think a lot of people think that, oh my God, if I call, I'm going to get a bill, you know, in the mail just because I picked up the phone and I spoke to you.
Right. I talk to injured people every single day that I'm at work, and we immediately, you know, the first thing I got to establish is what happened and is there a claim. Not every injury results in a claim. Sometimes you get injured and, you know, maybe you're at fault, or maybe nobody's at fault. Maybe both sides get ticketed, you know, if it's a car accident. So, you know, you first have to establish in a personal injury claim or a workers' comp claim, is there actually a claim? Calling an attorney, call me and we'll, for free, go through all the facts and elements of a case and see if you have one.
All right, so as we go through this, let's just put out your website, let's put out your phone number, so as we're walking through this, if somebody wants to call you and they're sitting at home going, my niece had this, my uncle had that, they can reach out and they can talk to you, okay? So your website and your phone number, if you would.
Okay. My website is griffinlawfirmpc.com, and you can reach me at 404-303-8400 or toll free at 877-303-8440. On my website, you can also submit any legal question that you'd like me to address. I'll respond to your email promptly. Or you can submit your case. I have a free settlement evaluation where you can fill out a form that will get emailed to me, and I will respond to tell you what your case is worth.
So you would give them an approximate value, say this is worth so much money?
I would. Now that said, there are a lot of factors that go into what a case is worth, and you don't have all of the facts at the beginning to know. I mean, the extent of the injury sometimes aren't discovered until they've gone through physical therapy or chiropractic, and did they get better or not? If they get better, then they should stop treating. If they don't, then sometimes they need to have an MRI or more diagnostic testing. If that doesn't work, then they need to go to a specialist, an orthopedic, a pain management that can do injections. So a lot of times a case may not appear to be that serious, but if they don't respond to treatment and they get worse, then sometimes they even have a surgical case.
So then what if you walked away? Say, you know, she was in the accident, everything was fine, she's now back in school, but 2 weeks later, I feel this pain. Can she still, you know, make a claim or call then after it's all said and done?
In Georgia, there's a statute of limitations of 2 years from the date of the accident. That's the only time limitation on a claim. Now that doesn't mean that if you're in pain you should delay going to the doctor, because adjusters are going to latch on to everything that they can to try to pay less money on the claim. One of the things the adjusters will often latch onto is somebody who waits a week or 2 weeks or 30 days. The longer you wait, the more they'll argue that they don't think you were really hurt, or maybe something other than the car accident caused the injury.
Something after the accident
Right.
you do because of
Right.
the time delay. You know, and so that's so funny that if you don't protect yourself, you're at risk of getting less, right, than if you do protect yourself. At the scene of the accident, somebody's out there driving a nice rainy day, God forbid, wham, get into an accident. What should we do? Get out of the car. What should we say? What shouldn't we say to protect our rights?
Right.
So you don't come to us and say, you know, Joyce,
You should have.
you really shouldn't have said that, okay?
Right.
What happens? Break it down if you
Just
can.
lay
like
on the side of the
ABCs.
road.
Right.
I will.
And spit a little out of the side of your mouth.
Well, one of the things to really to get us started on this is for me to tell what happened to me before I was an attorney. I was driving down the road, came to a stop, and a car rear-ended me. Now, she got out and she said she was sorry, and I said, well, that's fine, but I still need to call the police. We called the police. Well, when the police got there, she suddenly said that the car behind her, this mysterious ghost vehicle, had hit her and knocked her into me. Now, I wasn't hurt, but what happened was the police officer didn't ticket either of us. That isn't what happened, but I ended up having to use my own collision coverage and pay a deductible. So if you don't do the right things at the scene, you may end up worse for the wear.
Well, then you need to tell us the right thing to do.
Right. Well, the thing you need to do when you're at an accident scene, the first thing is call the police. The second thing is you need to see if there's any witnesses that you can get the name and the number of and ask them to stay to talk to the police. But if they won't stay, and in this busy time a lot of them won't, then at least get that contact information, because oftentimes that witness will be the key.
Well, here's what I want to talk about when we come back. What you should say yourself and what you shouldn't say, because obviously a lot of people are going to be asking you questions. So don't go anywhere. We got a whole bunch more from Mr. Griffin.
You can leave.
I can leave. The reality is accidents are caused by behavior of,
Really?
of the people,
Because
right?
Mr. Griffin here was talking about some of the things that, you know, causes accidents. As I said, I was guilty of about 3 or 4 of those, and you said 12.
I think you're guilty of most of them. I think that when we look at what causes the accidents, which we can get into in a second,
Right.
that we all do them.
Yes.
But the question I wanted to make sure we get out, which is really important, because if I'm going to come to you with my case, and you do your due diligence as my attorney, and you find out that I've made statements to all these people that could help my case, that could hurt my case. So who should I talk to? Who shouldn't I talk to? And what should I say?
Okay. Well, first of all, you should talk to the police officer who's there. You're going to have to. They're going to ask you what happened, and you need to stay calm, and you need to explain exactly what happened. You need to talk about the witnesses if you're able to find any, if they didn't stay. And you need to make sure that you tell the truth. I mean, don't exaggerate anything. Be honest and just be as straightforward as you can. Now, after you leave the scene, the insurance adjusters are very quickly going to start investigating the claim. As soon as they have wind of it, they're going to start wanting to find out, assess the property damage. They're going to want to get recorded statements from you and from any of the witnesses involved and from their own insured.
So if the phone rings and all of a sudden it's Allstate on the other line, not your carrier, the other guy's carrier, and they want you to make a statement, should you?
I would recommend that you not have that statement without talking to an attorney. I much prefer for my clients to call me and let me explain to them what a recorded statement is and explain to them the questions that they're going to ask, because they will oftentimes ask questions that they are trying to slant their way. And if you don't know about that, you may fall into a trap that is not accurate. I mean, sometimes they can twist things around a little bit.
Now, in my niece's case, she had 3 other people in the car with her. Now, what legal rights do they have, and should they contact an attorney? What procedures should take place if there's a passenger in the car with you?
Okay. In Georgia, anyone who's injured in the vehicle is going to have a claim. And if you are in someone else's car, it's a little bit funny the way the insurance coverage, the liability coverage of the negligent party is always going to be primary. Secondary will be the uninsured motorist coverage that you buy yourself. And then the third coverage you'd have would be uninsured motorist or underinsured motorist for the vehicle you're in. So it's that way.
Understand the priorities? The person who did it wrong, your own coverage, and then any balance is left on the driver in the car you're in.
And if I handle the case, and oftentimes, we handle very serious injuries, and we're able to get the policy limits from the liability carrier, that isn't the end of the story. We verify all of the uninsured motorists that the person has in their household, because if there's resident relatives in the household, you can stack the underinsured policies. So it's important. That's another thing about hiring an attorney is not only are we going to maximize the recovery, but we're going to make sure that we discover all the insurance policies that are out there, because with a high cost of medical treatment and serious injuries, the numbers add up very quickly.
I just want to jump one quick thing before you get back. Hold on a second. You said something that kind of shocked me that I want to go back to. You said that anyone out there who wants a free evaluation, not only to talk to you, but to evaluate their claim, that you would do it for them, right? On your website,
Absolutely.
You said there was a form. What's your website again? Because there are going to be people as they're listening going, well, wait a minute, I got all these insurance policies. There were.
And I'm not getting, nothing is happening.
Right. So give your website 2 times slow so people really can contact you.
It is www.griffinlawfirmpc.com. That's griffinlawfirmpc.com.
Okay.
And there is, on every page, there is a section that says free settlement evaluation, and it'll ask you some quick questions, and that will go directly to me, and I will promptly respond to you and let you know what I think about your case and whether we can help you.
And we can also, if anyone has a call, and you have a question,
I was going to say that. I mean, he's here with us now, and if you call, we'll put you on 404-607-1407. You can speak with Mr. Griffin right here on the show. Now, what my question was, I get excited.
Yeah, back to your niece. Right?
Well, it's just
it's all good.
When you're in an accident, and say the person that caused the accident left, like you experienced when you first started practicing. Now, and the only insurance company you got to deal with is your own, and you know that it might result to some type of lawsuit, or do you still do that without risking being canceled from your insurance?
That's a very good question.
I try.
And in Georgia, you don't have to have uninsured motorist coverage, and everyone should have it. It's not expensive to have, but if you don't have it and someone is driving around breaking the law without any coverage, then there'll be no one to pay for your medical bills, your lost wages, your pain and suffering, your loss of enjoyment of life. So you should have it. Now, a lot of times people will ask me, well, it's my own insurance carrier. Are they going to be fair with me? I probably don't need to have an attorney because they're going to take care of their own insured. Well, that isn't the case. These adjusters are going to treat you exactly like they would if it was a liability claim. If they weren't your insured, because it is a personal injury claim that they're going to have to pay money out of, and insurance adjusters and insurance companies are in the business to make money.
So
and
it is
that
business,
means,
and it's not personal.
It's not personal. To them, it's a numbers game.
But you know what's funny? He rattled off 5 or 6 remedy types. Right? From pain and suffering to medical, reimbursement to loss of enjoyment or physical use of an item. When we come back, I'd like you to break them down, because I don't think people even know what they can claim for and what they can't claim for. So we're not talking about bumpers and fenders today. We're talking about fingers, elbows, arms, the ability to sleep. How about the ability to make love with your spouse? Can you claim that under Georgia law? We'll find out that and more. So got a lot going on here at AutoScoop. We're talking about motor vehicle accidents and personal injury.
And definitely, if you have a call, 404-607-1407. This is the guy to talk to, because I know at some point in your life, a family member, even yourself, have been involved in an accident. So if you have questions, definitely give him a call. Go online. He's giving you that website address as well. So stay with us. This is some juicy stuff. You see, I'm just ready for questions here.
All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.